Okay, so I was meant to have a guest for this episode, but life happened and schedules didn't align. And instead of forcing something, I thought, let's just chat. Because lately, I've had a bit of a realization. And I don't know if you've ever had that moment where you're like, life is so busy and everything's chaotic. I have too much on. And then I take a step back and go, oh, wait, am I the problem? Not in a bad way, just a very honest and slightly humbling way. Because I feel like I've been blaming how busy life is. But if I'm honest, I might be contributing to that just a little bit more than I'd like to admit. So, firstly, let's start with basketball, because this is where it really hit me. Basketball has fully taken over our lives. Both kids are now playing. We've got training and games. I feel like we basically live at the courts now. And I've been saying, we're so busy, there's so much on. But then I had this moment where I was like, no one's actually asking me to be at everything. No one has said, you must attend every training session like an assistant coach. I've just taken that on. I've promoted myself to my kids' manager, coach, emotional support person. And I'm like, wow, I'm exhausted. And it's like, yeah, that tracks. Meanwhile, my husband's probably sitting there like, I can take them. And I'm like, no, I've got it. And then I'm on the sidelines, 3 coffees deep, wondering why I'm tired. And this is me not even coaching this season. Because let me tell you, last season, I was out there acting like I was running an elite sports program. I had training programs for every training session. I was analysing the opposition before games to know who to defend. And this is for an under 14s lower division game. No one asked me to do this. No one expected this of me. I just added it to my already full schedule and then acted shocked when I had no time. So again, I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern here. And I'm sure other people can probably relate to that. But then we move on to my work, which is just organized chaos. Like I walk in and I'm calm, professional, and we've got this. And internally, my brain is loading, buffering, and not responding. And every week is a big week. I don't know who decided that, but apparently every week's a big week. I'm just waiting for someone to say, hey, this week, nice and easy. Hasn't happened yet. Probably because I'm the manager and I'm the one saying it's a big week, which again is not helping myself or my team. But again, I had to be honest and go, I'm also a part of the problem. I take things on. I don't always delegate, and I want everything done properly. And alarm bells are going off for control freak, control freak. We'll circle back to that. And then I'm sitting there with 47 tabs open in my brain. And I'm thinking, why does this feel like a lot? And it's like, because you made it a lot, you silly sausage. So I'm doing this to myself. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it's just me. There's statistics from the Australian Bureau of Statistics that show that almost 70% of mums are working. And then on top of that, they're still doing the majority of everything at home. So of course it feels busy. But I think where I have to laugh at myself and was realizing, yes, life is full, but I'm also adding extra to it. And just to be clear, this is not throwing shade on my husband at all. He does a lot. He supports a lot, and honestly, without him, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. But speaking of my husband, this also brings me to relationships. Because I was thinking the other day, and I was like, when did we become co-managers of a household? Our conversations are basically like meetings. Okay, who's got basketball? What's happening tomorrow? Who's doing pickup? What time are you finishing work? Romance is alive. It's just hiding under a laundry pile and schedule. And again, I was like, we're just busy. But then I thought, when was the last time I actually made time for us? Not waited for it, but made it. Because turns out it doesn't just magically appear. And I actually had this moment the other day where I thought we need to organise a proper date night. We'll get the kids looked after, maybe go to our favourite Turkish restaurant, and just sit down and talk about something other than schedules. Actually check in with each other. See where we want to be in 5, 10 years. Are we working towards the same things? Because by the time the kids go to bed, I'm done for the day. I've spoken to people all day and I've used all my energy. And my version of connection time becomes doom scrolling or falling asleep on the couch, which is not exactly quality time with your significant other. And I think that's been my biggest realization, as I said lately. I keep saying life's chaotic, but I'm also the one saying yes to everything, doing everything, and trying to be everywhere, and then acting surprised when I'm tired. It's like, you've created this, respectfully. It actually made me think back to my chat with Coach D about balance. Because we've talked about looking after yourself and making time. And I was like, yes, I love that. Great advice. But I think what I didn't fully take on board was you actually have to create that space. It doesn't just appear between basketball training and emails and work. So I think where I've landed is maybe balance isn't about fitting more in. Maybe it's about doing a little bit less and sharing or delegating things more, saying no sometimes, not needing to be at everything. Because clearly I can't do it all. And then also be well rested and relaxed. I'm starting to realize that combination does not exist. So I guess what I'm saying is if your life feels busy at the moment, same. I'm here with you. I hear you. But maybe the answer isn't to keep up with everything. Maybe it's to pull back a little bit and not feel guilty about it. And I want to thank you for being here and sticking with me and listening to this podcast. The change of direction we've had, I'm hoping that in the few weeks we'll be able to get a few more guests on to have a chat just about how to kind of navigate, where this sweet spot of life is. If you felt, I guess this podcast, if it felt a little too relatable, send it to somebody who's also trying to do absolutely everything. And I'll see you in the next episode with hopefully 2 amazing guests who mean the world to me. And I wouldn't be here and being supported as I am without these 2 people. So I will see you in a couple of weeks for the next episode of The Sweet Spot of Life. Thanks so much. See you later.